But the bottom line, the world just looks at it as that it's just a waste. But if you can consider the fact that God's just trying to grow you, and he has put apostles and prophets and evangelists and pastors and teachers in your life so you can grow, that's not a bad thing. That's not a waste of time. Here is a big one. This is not in any particular order, but if I really went in any order, this would probably be number one, where the world would say that is the biggest waste of time. Number four, soul winning. Soul winning is one where people will look at that and say, that is such a waste of time. You knock doors for hours and sometimes don't get a single person saved. They could look at that and say, does that even really work? That's really a waste of your time. You're waking up on a Saturday morning, going out, knocking on someone's door. Does that really work? They could easily look at that and say, that is a waste of time. I mean, just look at everything that comes along. This is where you can really get the Judas attitude. When you think about this, you're going soul winning, that's a waste of time right there already. Are people really getting saved? If they're really getting saved, why your church not filled up? You got churches who don't go soul winning, and their church is packed out. You go soul winning, your church is half full. That doesn't make sense. So they look at that and say, that's a waste of time. Not only that, you go out and you start to distribute church materials. You start to give out tracts, you're giving out DVDs, you're giving out, these cards that got all different languages on them. All this money. Like Judas say, this could have been given to all that back there can be sold and given to the poor. If you have the Judas mentality that says, why this waste? You look at that, you can say that's extra income for the church. Why this waste? Judas really didn't care, but you can develop the attitude and say, this is not the way to soul winning, giving out material, giving out these DVDs, publishing all of these DVDs. That costs thousands of dollars. Ordering those DVDs over these past 5 years, how much money is that we have spent on DVDs, I wonder? Why this waste? Is what someone could say. And does it really work? Well, just consider yourself. Was it really a waste for somebody to get the gospel to you? Right. It wasn't a waste. Right. It wasn't a waste. It wasn't a waste of time for me to sit down and hear the gospel and get corrected that I was not saved by my works. Yeah, it was worth the time to sit down and hear that. And then not only that, to then move me to a good Bible-based church, that was not a waste. And so on, and start getting sin out of my life, and then start running my household like I should. Listen, all that started from soul winning and brought me to this point. You can be a witness for yourself, but just ask yourself, was it really a waste for someone to bring the gospel to you? It's not a waste. It's not a waste. Soul winning. Here's another one. This can be right up under if you want to do number 2. I know this really doesn't make sense to the world. Tithing. Tithing. Why are you giving 10%? Do you see the price of eggs today? Eggs are like $10, I think. I hear it every week. My wife. Do you see the price of eggs this week? All the time. I heard a guy at work talking about this. Man, you see the price of eggs over in Walmart? Yeah, I know. I know. Eggs, which used to be maybe $1 something, maybe 50 cents. Now, look at the price of the eggs, right? And you got the nerve to be giving 10% to God? Do you see the housing market? I mean, what is it? Is it 7% now, something like that, for the annual rate, something like that? APR, 7%, I heard. I don't know. Interest rates at 7%. I think that's like an all-time high or something like that. I don't know. Get with Brian afterward. You know, it's high. Put it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's high. And you got the nerve to give 10% to God. The world will look at that and say, that's a waste. That is a waste of money. Yeah. Man, do you see what the pastor drives? He's driving the Benz. Why are you giving the pastor money? The pastor is living like this. The pastor is living like that. The pastor needs to provide for himself. Y'all don't need to take care of. Why are you giving a tithe to the church? Let him take care of himself. The world look at that and say, nah, that's a waste of money. Don't do such a thing. But what does the word of God say? And just consider it. Is it really a waste for you to just give back to God, for one, what belongs to him anyway? He's actually being generous by letting us keep 90. You know, and just imagine if he say, it's all mine. I mean, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Right. So that 100% is actually his. But he's being generous to say, just want to try you. Just want to test you. Just want to prove you with that 10%. And why is that so hard for the world? Well, for one, they can't get it because it's the fact that for one, it doesn't make sense. But then they consider it just like Judas. Why this waste? Why are you throwing that money to the church? I hear that all the time. I'm sure you guys have as well. Why do you have to take up a collection? Tithing isn't even biblical. It's stopped in the New Testament. You don't see it anywhere. You know, Malachi 3:10 says, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Here's another one. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. Here's another one. Raising godly children. Is it really a waste to raise godly children? I mean, people who just going to conduct themselves like good people in the world, is it really a waste? I don't consider it a waste if you train your child up in the ways of the Lord. It's not really a waste, but people will consider, hey, that kid doesn't need to be in church every Sunday morning. Hey, let him go out and get on the baseball team, the football team. Yay, nothing against that. But listen, it's not going to take the place of church. It's not going to take the place of serving God. So they would consider, oh, that's a waste, you know, having that child. He's going to grow up weird.